ABC7 News at 4 continues with Linda Yu, Alan Kraszewski, Health Beat with Sylvia Perez, Weather with Mike Kaplan, and Sports with Jim Rose.
We've been telling you about the big conversion to digital television. You know, it happens next Friday. In addition to installing a converter box on an analog TV set, you're going to need a good quality UHF, VHF antenna. And Marc Cook with Abt Electronics is joining me once again with some great options for you. Now, we should mention, first of all, Marc, is that if you have an antenna already, it may do the job for you, right?
Right.
How do you know?
The first thing you should do is probably try and eyeball the antenna, actually go outside and look at it. If it's something that you've had since the war, you might want to have somebody go out and check that there's no broken elements on it. If all the elements are pointing out, but a lot of wind damage, a lot of times antennas can get broken or bent. So
elements are these metal spines that stick out from the antenna?
Right. This is an FM antenna that also will pick up HD stations. For a lot of people, that's going to be sufficient. If you're in the immediate Chicagoland area, if you can see either the Hancock Building or the Sears Tower, more than likely you're going to be able to pull in a signal with something like this. Especially if you've got something like this and it's working okay for you.
Your rabbit ears on top of the set here?
This is your least appealing choice. Rabbit ears would be the last resort.
Why is that?
Because this is going to pick up the least amount of signal. So anybody in a fringe area, suburbs, anywhere that's far away, this is not going to work. It just isn't. You can try. You might get one or two channels that are really broadcasting at high power. But for the most part, the best choice is an outdoor antenna mounted on your roof. That's your single best choice.
And
something
people are
like
telling us that height is important too, obviously. In fact, if you have the antenna, some people say, I don't want it up there. You see a man here by his chimney. He's got a typical rooftop installation here. Some folks say, I don't like that look. Can I just put it in my attic, for instance?
Absolutely. But just remember, the minute you bring your antenna in from outside, you lose about 40% of the signal. So if you're struggling to reach signal on the outside, bringing it inside is going to make it a little more difficult. Something like this, you're completely, with an antenna signal, you're completely reliant on anything next to you, tall buildings, trees. If you're in a low area, those are all sort of instances that will affect your antenna performance.
I want to mention too, some of you have, in fact, you've been calling me or telling me you've been doing this, for instance. You hooked up everything to your existing antenna and you have a converter box now. You got us great on the analog side. Now you hook up the converter box and for one reason or another, you're not seeing us. Now, there may be a number of different reasons for that. One may be hookups are not being done properly.
Correct.
Here. But another reason may possibly be that you're in an area where you got a great analog signal before, but just the little slight differences in the digital signal can affect your particular neighborhood as to whether or not you're going to be able to receive us with your existing antenna.
There's an important difference between an analog and a digital signal. An analog signal can degrade. So if you've got a really weak analog signal, you might be able to make out a little bit of information, but not everything. With a digital signal, you have something called cliff effect, where if you don't hit the peak number that the box or the TV tuner needs, it's going to drop off and say searching for signal.
So either you have it or you don't. It's
exactly
that simple. So I think the best advice would be make sure you have everything set up, check it out with your existing antenna, make sure it's a good antenna, that you got all your elements and everything else so you're getting a decent picture, right? Look it over good. Don't get up on the roof and if you're not qualified to do that. Get somebody to do that for you. But if it's not working for you,
maybe Abt could do that.
Maybe
Abt could do that.
Funny how that works.
It is weird. Just something to think about.
But make sure too that if you are looking for a new one, that you do your homework and there's different models and stuff too that will work for your individual situation. Thank you so much, Marc. Great to have you here. Now remember too, if your TV's connected to cable or satellite, you don't have to do a thing for next Friday's transition. You're all set. You want more information about antennas, converter boxes, or even free in-home installation of those converter boxes? Call the number on your screen, 1-888-CALL-FCC. Our local hotline number for your questions, 312-750-7052. Check out our website as well. Tons of information there, ABC7Chicago.com. Linda, back to you.
Okay, Alan, we have some breaking news right now to tell you.